writer, trainer, motivational speaker, social media influencer. Trent Rose, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I can't complain.
It's an honor and a pleasure to have you on the Bob Report via RealToonTV. You know, we had to come chop some game with you, man.
It's an honor being here, fam. It's an honor being here, real talk.
Hey, Real Tone, it's some real money in the room.
You are now tuned into the Bob Report. Tell everybody where you from.
I'm from Fort Worth, Texas, man. I was born and half raised here. I'm from Fort Worth, Texas, man. Stop 6. Born and raised. You name it.
The half and half. What's the other part? Where was the other half? Was that?
Los Angeles. 90% of my folks is from Los Angeles, so all my life I've been back and forth from LA to here.
Stop 6 is a known neighborhood inside and outside of Texas. Can you give us a few reasons why you think that is?
The reasons why it's popular?
Yes, sir.
I mean, honestly, probably because of gang culture. You know what I mean? Yeah, gang culture. And Stop 6 is also known to Fort Worth is the 6th stop of the train station. You see what I'm saying? So in Stop 6, we got a train, we got a railroad, like a train station that runs through our hood. And it's the 6th stop, so Stop 6, that's how Stop 6 really got its name. Because of the train station.
Okay. What type of upbringing did you have growing up in Stop 6?
Man, I was good, man. My mama, my grandmama, they loved me. You know what I mean? I all empathy, the whole 9 yards. I come up, my grandmother and my mom's, they raised me in a loving household, fam, real talk. So, yeah, my upbringing was cool. I ain't have nothing.
You wasn't the typical struggling household, you know, welfare, all of that. You didn't.
Nah, I don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing about being on welfare. I don't know nothing about none of that. I mean, my mama, my grandmama, they took care of me. You know what I mean? I was raised in a good household. I don't know nothing about struggling, being honest with you. Coming up, I don't. Now, we probably was struggling, but, you know, grandmama and mama didn't allow me to know that. And if I was struggling, I didn't know. You know, when you're a kid, you don't know exactly what struggle means. You know what I mean? You don't know what struggle means.
Did you finish high school?
Yeah, sure, most definitely. I graduated from Dunbar High School.
Okay. And you have real California ties, like LA.
Yeah. Like I said, 90% of my people are from LA.
So when you attend your family reunion, it's in Los Angeles?
Oh yeah, most definitely. No, most definitely, we're gonna be down there.
Growing up in Fort Worth, Texas, having Los Angeles, California ties, that's a different type of lifestyle for a young black man. What was your mentality like back then?
Are you talking about as a youngster?
Yes, sir.
I was living out my ego, fam. Yeah, I was living out my ego. And you know, when you living out your ego, man, you out there. You know what I'm saying? You out there. You trying to shine. You trying to be on top. You know, so during the time that I was young, my ego took over everything else.
When you left your household, being that you had love in the house, did you turn into a different person when you hit the streets?
Yeah, because the streets, that's you know, when you decide that, say, hey, the streets is finna get ready to be my life, then you gotta play by the rules of the streets. And so, you know, the rules of the streets was, you know the rules of the streets.
Yeah.
So that's the game that we had to play at that time.
What was life like in Fort Worth before the gangs?
Man, real talk, man. Life before gang culture, man, was decent. And what I mean by this, don't get me wrong, we fought. Our whole thing back in the game before gang culture, we fought. You know, and that's what we did on a regular. Stop Six was known for, man, matter of fact, Fort Worth was known for fighting. So we would literally, like, a school would go to a park and go fight another school. That's how we got down. This was before gunplay. You know, this was before '88. When '88 came, man, and colors hit the scene, it turned everybody out. You know what I'm saying? When colors hit, everybody started deciding that, hey, I got to pick a side, and that's when real talk. That's when the killing started.
So before the gangs, you had cats like Billy Ray Maddox, Moochie, Bobby Wayne Reed. What was the vibe like then in Fort Worth?
Money.
Money.
It was money. And what I mean by money, like you saying, you talking about Billy Ray Maddox and Bobby Reed. That was during the time that crack had just hit the scene, right? So when crack actually hit the scene, those were the individuals who was masters of that game. And Billy Ray Maddox, Bobby Reed, Boot Nose. Those are the dudes that was the master of building trap houses, so to say. Those were the dudes was running out of house $20,000-$30,000 a night. You know what I mean? That kind of money. Yeah, that kind of money. When you were speaking about like them kind of cats, Billy Ray Maddox, Moochie, you know.
And these were guys that you saw and heard of.
Yeah, those were during that time. Those were our idols, so to say. You know what I mean? Those were our idols in Fort Worth.
When did the colors actually hit Fort Worth?
Colors actually hit Fort Worth around '88. Now, actually, colors didn't hit Fort Worth in '88. Gangs started to come down here in like '87. Matter of fact, if I ain't mistaken, like Boot Nose brought the first Crips down to Fort Worth at the time. Now, at that time, didn't nobody even know what a Crip was, period, you know? But when the movie Colors came out, it sparked a revelation of gang violence and youngsters killing each other, real time.
Was it already gangster activity going on in Fort Worth before the colors got here?
Well, yeah, it was. It just wasn't represented as blood Crip or no shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It was just that you got your crew. In other words, because we were our homeboys, fam. We were our homeboys growing up. So we had our own crew. We had the Stop Six posse. We had the K9 posse. You know, we had groups like that. But when '88 hit, colors hit, it took off like a wildfire, man. See, I was there before colors. Colors hit the scene of Fort Worth. So, like you saying, I know how it was before, and I know how it was after.
Which one was more? Well, you say y'all fought before the colors came most of the time. There was a few killing going on, I'm sure. Yeah. But it's mostly.
No, we fought. Nobody know nothing about no guns.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nobody know nothing about no guns. We didn't find out about killing each other until the movie Colors came out, fam. That's real. Didn't nobody shoot at each other. Now, don't get me wrong. In Chicago, you had the vice lords and the gangsters. That was a known going on. But other than that, nah, man, we grouped up. We fought each other. Gunplay didn't come in until, like I say again, 88.
So Fort Worth is known nationally for gang banging. I think we're even the murder capital of the world at one point.
Yeah, 92.
In 92.
Yes.
Why did you start Truman Street? What was the reason behind it, the real reason?
Cats coming down from California. Cats was coming down from California, setting up in people's hoods, and people started to represent a street that was not here in Texas. And I got upset at that. It was like, it was crazy to me. It was crazy to me that dudes was coming down here from California and saying, hey, you gonna represent Five Deuce Hoover, 52nd block of Hoover. And the cats that was representing that ain't never walked them streets. You see what I'm saying? You didn't walk the streets. So why is you representing that? So it rubbed me the wrong way. So one particular day I decided, all right, y'all want to be, we gonna represent our street. We ain't gonna represent no street out of California. We're gonna represent where we come from. And we're gonna be Bloods.
And basically it was to protect your part of the neighborhood.
Yeah, I was in my feelings. I was in my feelings because somebody was coming from somewhere else, setting up camp, and people were riding with it. They were riding with it. I didn't understand that.
Did you know it would get as popular and as as popular as it did?
Nah, not by far. Nah. The movie Colors, when Ice-T said the gangs of LA would never die, only multiply, he wasn't lying. Because right now, man, Blood and Crip is all over the United States. And if you really look at it, it's all over the United States because of what? A movie. A movie. See, the reason why I say that is because I know how it was before the movie.
Yes, sir.
You see what I'm saying? And then now I know how it was after the movie. So I can only say, okay, well, what's the reason? The movie. Because see, you gotta understand something, man. An individual will fall for anything, for real. He'll fall for it. If he don't belong to something, so he gotta belong to something. And gang culture was the thing to belong to. Because see, when you look at it and you say, especially just gang culture in a whole, gang culture gives an individual power in a sense.
Yes, sir.
Because see, if he belonged to something, he's belonged to what he called his family or his friends or these people that's loyal to him. And if he get into something, oh, I always got something going to go get my peep. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like you joining a group of friends and saying, hey, we're gonna make this a bond. But the only bond that we gonna create a bond, and in that bond we gonna go out and we gonna destroy the next black neighborhood, so to say.
Let me ask you this: have you ever went and intentionally harmed somebody behind a color?
No, I ain't never harmed nobody because of their wore a color. No, man. No, no. I ain't never hurt nobody for not for no color. You know what I'm saying? If I done something to you, it's because you done something to me, not because you wore a different color. You know.
That's interesting.
Nah. Why?
Do you feel like the reasons were different back then, but how it wildflowered, that's all it was about. This color and that color. Family versus family in some cases. But you started it for the reason you started it, and you never went and looked for nobody with no blue on.
You gotta understand something, man. I'm probably the youngest G that ever. When I started this, I wasn't nothing but like 19 years old, man. You see what I'm saying? I'm young because the game is young. So I'm gonna start what I. And I also thought that I had, credibility because my family was from Los Angeles. So that gave me a entitlement, so to say, that, hey man, yeah, my word is what's bond. You know what I mean? Because my folks is from the original homeland, so to say.
You already knew what a Crip and Blood was.
Yeah, I knew what a Crip and Blood was before anybody even knew what a Crip and Blood was here. But before the movie Colors, fam, didn't nobody know what that was. I knew what it was because, my folks is from down there.
How did you end up in the federal penitentiary?
Selling drugs. I was selling dope, fam. Now I got my first case, I got my first case was a federal case. It was manufacturing of a drug lab. And I actually got caught on my first case. My first federal case was manufacturing of a drug lab, and I got caught up on a fluke, man. I had a safe house, and the apartment upstairs had gotten broken into. Now, what I didn't know was the feds had already had me under investigation, but I didn't know I was under investigation. You see what I'm saying?
How long did you not know?
Well, when I found out after I got arrested, I was under investigation for 2 years. They had me under investigation for 2 years. But one afternoon, fam, matter of fact, I got a house that's in the hood, right? And I was down in my house one day. So this little kid ride down there on a bike. So he say, hey Trent, it's a white car up on the hill by the Martin Luther King Center looking down here with some binoculars. I said, what? He said, yeah. I said, hey, go get that license plate number and I'll give you something a little bit later when you get through, right? So he said, all right, bam, he gone. I really forget about it. Well, about 2-3 days later, I stopped back by the house. He come down the street with a group of dudes on a bike. So he say, stop, Trent, yeah, I got that license plate number that you asked me for. I say, yeah, okay, cool, thanks. So I gave him like $20 or whatever else, and he burnt on out. Well, I had this cat that I knew that was down with the law enforcement. So I say, man, run this license plate number and see what it come back on. So when dude ran the license plate number, he say, man, I don't know what's going on with you, fam, but that's a federal car down there, right? I said, what? So immediately, man, in 30 seconds, I'm up out of there, Jack. I packed up and I moved to Houston. And in 2 days' time, like, damn. Because I already knew the feds was on me. You see what I'm saying? So when I moved to Houston, bam, I done shot to Houston. So I'm down in Houston doing my thing, this, that, and the third. And about a year and a half later, I got a call from my lawyer, and she told me that a federal agent had hollered at her and told her, hey, they wanted to do an interview with me. You know what I mean? Wanted me to come in and talk. And I was on some, man, I ain't talking to nobody. What you talking about? No, we ain't doing that. And after that, bam, they put a federal warrant out for my arrest. Now, why they put a federal warrant out for my arrest was I had a safe house, right? And it was in some apartment complex. Well, the apartment above me gotten broken into, right? Well, when the laws came to check the apartment upstairs, the maintenance man decided that, hey, let me check the apartment downstairs to see, you know what I mean, since somebody done broke up the upstairs, I'm just gonna open up the door and check it downstairs. Well, when he opened up the door, he looked in, he seen like an AR-15 in the corner of the room, and during that time, the reason why they had me under manufacturing of a drug lab, I was in there cooking, I was getting there cooking a gang of yay, right? And it was on the table drying. So when he opened up the door to check that, he looked in, closed the door back, tell the law that, hey, I just went in there, can you go in? Well, the laws tell him, hey, I can't go in there. Well, I don't know it. All this is going on, I pull up. Well, when I pull up, boom, I see the play, and the law tell me to come, I burnt off on him. Well, to make a long story short, I got away. Well, that case started a federal investigation on me. You see what I'm saying? So by me getting away, it started a federal investigation. So I went on about my way, and that's how I found out that I was under federal investigation.
Had you been in trouble for anything else previously before this?
Oh, hell yeah, man. I got my arrest record is off the damn chain, man. You know, I done been arrested. I done been arrested for attempted murder. I've been arrested for aggravated assault on a police officer. I got a gang of gun charges. You know what I mean? And but all of those were beat because I always went to trial. Every
Hold on. You always did what?
I always went to trial. I went to trial.
You won?
Shit.
You would win?
Well, yeah, I won until the last one. This last federal case, yeah, that was the only one that I actually, I lost that one. Well, I actually didn't lose it because I was charged with manufacturing of a drug lab. Well, by me going to trial, they had to drop manufacturing of a drug lab and charge me with possession of a controlled substance with and what is it, intent to deliver? Yeah, like that, yeah.
How long were you incarcerated?
14.
In the federal penitentiary?
14 years.
No state time?
No state time. 14.
What's the difference between state and federal penitentiary?
Actually, I have never been to state, but the difference is you do your time in your state. When you're in the feds, you do your time with everybody over the United States. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
During your prison stint, what are some of the things that when you first got there, how was that experience? Like, what was that like?
First getting locked up, I mean, it was.
Did you still have a street mentality?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. No, yeah. Yeah, I was still off the chain. And I was still off the chain. I didn't really you don't calm down until you until you done spent a couple of years in there and understanding the dynamics of politics and all that other shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Were there gangs in the federal penitentiary? Was it Crip and Blood?
If you in the Fed and the highest security, yeah, you gonna belong to something. You gonna, yeah. That's where the gang started.
It was Crips and Bloods in there?
Yeah, it was Crips and Bloods in there. It was everything in there. It was Crips, Blood, Gangster Disciples, Vice Lords, Mexican Mafia, Aztecers, you name it. Border Brothers, you name it. That's where it began.
And it took you a couple years to calm down and actually do the time.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know what really got me when I got into writing, man. That's what calmed me down. And when I got into writing, that's what took it to another level for me. You know what I'm saying? Because see, if you locked up and all you doing in that junk is playing dominoes, playing cards, you know what I mean? You ain't trying to better yourself in no kind of way. Man, nah. You gonna fall short of His glory. You know what I'm saying? When you get home.
So writing is what helped you get through your time. Yeah,
writing is my that's my go-to, fam.
Were you writing before you got locked up?
Nah, I wasn't doing nothing before I got locked up. Man, I was a drug dealer, man. I done everything under the table, man, before prison.
So what made you go to writing?
You know a cat named by the name of Addis Taylor.
Okay.
Addis Taylor, man. When I first got locked up, Addis Taylor, he had been locked up probably like 20-something years. So for whatever reason, man, he took me up under his wing. You know what I mean? And what he did was he was a poet, and he wrote poetry. So he's really the one that got me into writing poetry. So once I got into writing poetry, I got into reading. So I'm a real avid reader. So I read a lot. So what I started doing was I started reading novels, this, that, and the third. And one day I decided, like, man, you know what, man, I'm gonna see if I can write me a novel. And I wrote a novel, and it was decent.
How long did it take you?
About my first novel, it took me about like 4 months. What
was your goal of writing it, just to see if you could do it? Did you plan on like actually pass it out to some of your boys locked up?
When you locked up, man, you gotta find something to do with your time. Again, you gotta find something to do with your time. If you don't find nothing to do with your time, you gonna fall short of the glory. So that was something that I could do with my time, and time passed me, passed on by.
Did you know how to write?
Nah, I didn't know how to write at all. I learned how to write by reading, by reading books. I just picked up that formula and took off.
When you finished the project, did you ever pass it to any of the homies for them to check out?
That's actually what made me self-publish my book while I was locked up. Because what I did was I wrote my book in my joint, and I let my partners read it, and my partner was like, say, man, this joint is good for real. I was like, you think so? He was like, yeah, man, hey, man, real talk, you can do something with this. So what I did was I sent it. It was this prominent publishing company, I think it was called like Triple Crown at the time. And I sent my manuscript. Well, what I did was I had it edited by this chick named Jazzy Penn, and she worked for Triple Crown. So she actually introduced my book to them, and they wanted to give me my first book deal while I was locked up. But me, by doing a whole bunch of research, I decided that it would be better if I just self-publish it while I was locked up, and that's what I did.
So you wrote the book and published it from prison.
Yeah.
How hard was that process, man? Some people though, it's free, they can't do that.
No, I'm gonna be honest with you. It was a struggle, but if you had somebody that was believing in your dream or whatever else, and they was working on the outside for you, and then it turned out all right for me. You know what I mean? So the people on the outside that believed in me, you know what I mean? Like, I would send manuscripts to people to get it, like, it proofread, edited, and my folks would be on the streets talking about, hey man, go on, pay for that. They would pay for it for me. So, and then the book, when it actually came out, and I shipped it off to a gang of what is it called when they read your book? I forgot what they told me. When they read your book and then they turn back around and I forgot what it is. Anyway, I sent it out to a bunch of readers. They decided that they liked it, and man, it took off. It took off.
What other things did you do while being locked up outside of writing and reading? Because you're an established trainer also. Oh
yeah. Oh, I got certified as a personal trainer, conditioning trainer. I got my master's certificate, and basically training. You know, that's what I was into. I was into training, conditioning training, boxing training. You know what I mean? So I did everything while I did a lot of training while I was locked up.
What did you learn from being in prison?
What did I learn from being in prison? Learn not to go back. Shit. Learn that
you mentioned your ego was out of control earlier.
Yeah, it was.
Was your ego in check before you got out of prison?
Oh yeah, that's what I wish for. Fam, I didn't want to go back to the streets thinking that I had to go do some dirt to survive. Because see, before prison, that was my only mindset, was doing dirt. That was my only career. You see what I'm saying? See, before prison, immature in the mind, I wanted to be Nino Brown. I wanted to be Al Capone.
Those were your...
Yeah, those are my idols that I looked up to as a youngster. But again, I'm still immature in the mind, fam. So I'm still looking at TV, glamorizing what it is to be a gangster. So in that, once you let your ego lead the way, it's gonna do just that, you know? It's gonna do just that.
So you get out of prison, and what's the first thing you do?
Man, I got out to prison, fam. I went and started training, cause I was a certified trainer. So the first thing I did was, well, I take that lie back. My partner, Shep, he had got out before me. Well, when he had got out before me, he had already took the program as far as training wise, right? So he got out before me and he took off. You know what I mean? He had got a gym together, he did everything. So when I'm calling him from locked up, he kept telling me, hey man, Trent, get your certification in training, man. hey man, you get that, you gonna do da 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 da. So, you know, I fed into it and was like, damn, I'm finna go and get my training. So I got my training, and when I got home, man, I hit the bricks, man. I was a full-fledged trainer. Now the end goal was to get the book together.
The book was out before you got out, right?
Yeah, the book was out. Book was out when I get out. But again, I had wrote a gang of books, fam, and I was supposed to put the rest of my books out. But when I got home, that hustle got in me, man. I ain't do nothing but start training, man. I started training.
You also learned how to be a spoken word artist or guy or whatever you call it.
Oh yeah. Well, I learned that. That was the first thing I started doing. Is spoken word.
When you got to prison?
Yeah, that was the first. That's what I started doing before I even started writing. It was spoken word. That's what added
so you
Taylor.
was a rapper?
Huh?
You was rapping?
Nah, it wasn't no rapper, man.
So you get out, you training heavily. The book is out. What possessed you to get on the internet?
Man, you know what, man? My baby mama said, Trent. Well, actually, my baby mama is a author herself, right? And she done wrote a couple of books. Joyce Fisher, go check her out. Anyway, my baby mom said, hey, Trent, won't you sell some of your books on TikTok? And I'm like, what? Man, TikTok? I mean, I'm not finna do no dancing on the, what are you talking about? She was like, nah, just say some inspirational stuff and tell them you got a book to sell. She said, I sold like 43 books last month. I said, what? You sold them off TikTok? She was like, yeah. I was like, all right, let me check that out. So what I did was I went and I think I already had a TikTok because I used to go there and just watch the videos. So what I did was, man, I made a couple of 30-second videos of some inspirational shit, and man, that shit took off.
What did that feel like, man, to see something that you didn't know nothing about?
Nah, man, now that I'm being honest with you, that shit took me by. That shit took me fast because again, man, I'm fresh out the junk, 14 years. I really don't know nothing about social media at all. All I know is I'm on social media. I got a platform where, you know, I got my training page where, you know, I'm trying to get folks to come in and try, you know, I use my social media to sell my training. Well,
that's what you started out.
That's what I started out.
Gotcha.
Well, when the videos started going viral, I started going like, whoa, wait a minute, man, what's up? So my book sales started jumping all the way up. So it inspired me to do more, man. And the more I did, the more my videos started to go viral. And that's when Facebook decided to cut me a check for the shit. So when Facebook decided, hey, I'm gonna cut you a check for this, I'm like, what? You get paid for this? You know, I mean, real talk. Yeah. And when I saw the check, I'm like, oh yeah, you get paid for this. I can do this. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do this.
What do you feel like got you paid from social media or started getting you checks? What message was it that you was kicking?
I mean, you know what I did was I only on my platform, man, I speak love, peace, understanding, and watch out for the snakes in the grass. I basically preach psychological awareness for everyday life. You know what I'm saying? Everyday life. That's it. And me giving out that type of advice, people caught on to it and started liking it, fam. Start liking me.
Do you feel like this is something? Do you feel like you're a lucky guy, or anybody can do this?
Now, I ain't gonna say anybody can do it. You know, I ain't gonna, hey, and I ain't gonna say this ain't no easy thing either. You know, well, I guess you can say if you look at it as being luck, man. You know.
Well, check this. How much time do you spend on putting your videos together and making sure that they proper?
How much time I spend?
How much time do you spend doing what you do on social media? Period.
I work. I work depending on Lou. I work. I work a couple of hours a day on certain material.
Every day?
Mm-hmm.
Every single day?
Yeah, I do something. I try to do something every day. I try to give some advice every day on something.
How many social media followers do you have? Or how many Facebook followers do you have?
On Facebook, I got like 238,000 followers.
And you have a heavy following on TikTok as well?
Yeah, I think I got like 60,000 on TikTok.
How many do you have on Instagram?
50,000.
You saying these numbers like that's a small thing.
Yeah.
Like being who you are, what you've been through to be on social media and to get paid from it is like a heavy accomplishment. To have that many people following you, listen to your messages, that doesn't happen. Rappers don't have that. Do you feel like your influence has helped people in their everyday life?
Yeah, I want to believe they do. You know, my whole goal really is to spread more smiles than tears. You know what I'm saying? Because I done spread a whole bunch of tears, so I'm gonna try to put some smiles on some people's face. You know.
Do people let you know that you've helped
Yeah,
them?
yeah, they most definitely do. I mean, real talk, that's what feels good about it. You know what I mean? When you spit some good shit to somebody and then they turn back around here and tell you, hey man, you Trent, you helped me on that, man. You know what I mean? Real talk, that shit feel good.
If you could go back in time, what would you tell your 18-year-old self? Or the young Trent dog?
What would I tell my 18-year-old self? Shoot, man. I would tell him to start writing. I would tell him to start writing and start to get into video recording and things of that nature. I definitely would not. I would tell him to put his ego down, you know, all of that. But in the sense of knowing what I know now, if I could go back into and tell him to get out his head, get out of his imagination, stop thinking, looking at the movies, thinking that Nino Brown and all of them is that's what you want to be. You know what I mean? Stop living out my ego. Real talk.
Did you enjoy that life that you were living back then? Was it a thrill? Did you have fun?
Yeah, man. Yeah. And when you young and out of control, fam, that's what it's about. It's about the thrill of it. You know. A lot of people think that it was about the money, and it wasn't even about the money with me. It was about the thrill. It was about going and doing what I wanted to do in that which way, form, or fashion. Real talk.
Were the codes different than what they are now? Like, as far as the snitching and a lot of the music that they put out is kind of like self-snitching in a sense.
You know something, man? Like this is something that's real. That's funny when people go to talking about snitching. Fam, when we were in the streets, fam, it was you shut your goddamn mouth, man. Like out the gate. Like when the laws came and talked to you, you shut up. When you got arrested, fam, this is the first thing that they tell you. You got the right to remain silent. Anything you say or do will be held against you in a court of law. So if you come in contact with the law, the first thing you supposed to do is shut your damn mouth. Out the gate. If it's 4 people in the car and every one of y'all shut up, whatever got going on is with the driver, fam. With the driver. If it's 4 people in the car, you don't even got to say your name. Well, in Texas you don't. But if you dumb enough not to know that they gonna turn back around here and separate y'all and go to telling you, and you think in your mind that you got to say something, then you dry snitching on your damn self. You dry snitching on your damn self, fam. If me and you get pulled over in the car, and if we get pulled over, you driving. If the law come on my side and ask me for my ID, you ain't got the right to do that. You shut your goddamn mouth. I don't answer questions, man. I don't talk to police. If an individual will turn back around, man, what did you say in the interrogation room? How the hell you make it to the interrogation room? See, when you go into the interrogation room, that's the first thing they ask you. You got the right to remain silent. What make you think that you got to talk to somebody? What put you in a position that you think, hey, I got to talk to y'all? Y'all got me in a cell, fool. Why am I telling you what's going on with me? You trying to convict me. I'm going to do just what the rich do. When the rich get arrested, what do? They shut up. They shut up. When they get arrested, I don't care what they get locked up on. I don't care what happened. They got to prove what I done in court. Not without me telling them some shit. They got to prove that without me saying a word. You know what I'm saying? That's just like my court that I had, in my trial that I had, man. I went to trial. I never talked to nobody. They had to prove that I had a manufacturing of a drug lab. They could not prove that because they didn't have nobody to tell on me. I was the only one on my case, fam.
That's
now,
rare.
what they thought that, okay, we gonna convict him with manufacturing of a drug lab and he's gonna tell to get out of trouble. But what they didn't know was, no, I'm not saying shit. I'm going to trial. You gonna have to prove what you done to me. I went to trial on an aggravated assault on a police officer, fam, and won. That's because they charged me with aggravated assault on a police officer, and I did not do that. But if I would have turned back around here and pled to that, because they was gonna talk about giving me 5 years probation for an aggravated assault on a police officer. You gonna give me 5 years probation and I done beat the law up? Oh, you gonna get me? That's because you want me to take the case.
Yeah.
So then when I turn back around and say, nah, we going to trial. On the day of trial, oh, we got to no bill it. I got 2 cases dropped like that. I got an attempted murder drop like that. And I got my aggravated assault on a police officer dropped like that because I shut my goddamn mouth.
Let me ask you this. The Boosie and T.I. situation where Boosie was like, I'm not dropping the album with you no more. He was upset with T.I. because T.I. spoke on him, I guess you could say, telling or snitching on his dead friend or dead cousin. You dig what I'm saying? And Boosie was like, well, we pretty much through. T.I. had the paperwork party. Boosie didn't pull up. You know, and they had this little back and forth going on. about snitching. In another case, Boosie is on Brother Terrence Gangsta Williams' coattail about the same thing, where Gangsta supposedly told on some of his dead friends. You know, so the whole snitching thing is just it can go both ways. But you saying the remedy is?
The remedy is to shut your goddamn mouth.
Gotcha.
The thing ain't is about if me and you are in a conspiracy together and you done shut your mouth and I done shut my mouth, then they gotta prove that we was in a conspiracy together. But if, I'm gonna tell you, so okay, a prime example. I get pulled over with a key, right?
Mm-hmm.
I turn back around, they pull me over, take me to jail. They tell me, look, we gonna give you 100,000 years if you don't tell us where you got this key from. Now, if anybody knows law, a powdered ain't no more than what, 2 to 3 years? Travis, what is it, 2 to 3 years? Yeah. 2 to 3 years, just that period. But if I lie to you and tell you I'm gonna give you 1,000 years, and you say, hey, I got this, I got caught up. Oh, I got this from Supreme. Okay, I just turned my simple possession case into a conspiracy case. Just by me telling on you. Now, if I'd have just shut my goddamn mouth and took my time for my simple possession case, which would have got me 2 to 3 years, but now I got to tell on everybody because I got a conspiracy case. Now, a conspiracy case is what? No less than 10 years in my 10 years, right? 10-year conspiracy. So I just added on 10 years by telling on somebody else. I made my simple possession case a conspiracy case. Now, I done told it on you. They done turned back around here and put ghost dope on you. I don't know if you know what ghost dope is. It's relevant conduct.
What's ghost dope?
Ghost dope is, okay, prime example. I turn back around here and get caught with a key, right? I tell it on you and say, hey, Supreme sold me this key. Oh, he did? How long he been selling it? Oh, he been selling me a key. He sell me a key once a month. He been selling me a key for 2 years. Oh, wow. So now they're gonna charge you with what? 24 keys of dope because of what I said. It's called ghost dope. Now, you ain't got caught with shit. You at the house chilling. You at the house running, you at the house chilling. You ain't got caught with nothing, you ain't got nothing. But when that conspiracy case come down, shit, I'm coming to pick you up. Why? Now I'm testifying against you to get what is called a 5K1. A 5K1 is the snitch law that's gonna get me 5 years when I should have shut up and would have got 2 to 3 years. Now I done totally got myself a conspiracy. Now I'm getting 5 years when I should have just shut up and got 2. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So that's why I say, shut your goddamn mouth. Why you so you just gonna let somebody lie to you and tell you anything? Oh yeah. Powder, that's a key. That ain't nothing, fam. In the feds, but they'll make you believe that it's something.
Do you think the lack of knowledge is why?
That's exactly what it is. It's the lack of knowledge. It's the lack of knowledge that you don't know. Because I didn't know, fam. I did not know that crack was 100 to 1. I would get in the car and ride around with 3 keys and be paranoid as hell. Get out the car and ride around with a 31 grams and like it ain't nothing. Not knowing that 31 grams of crack gonna get me way more time than the 5 keys that I'm riding around with. But I don't know that. I ain't got a clue. So that's how you get caught up. But if you do number 1 rule, shut your damn mouth, then you're gonna be on a case by yourself. See, every time you implement somebody, that's an add-on of 10 years out the gate, period. A conspiracy case, that's 10 or less years, fam. And the only way that you can get less than 10 years is you get what is called a 5K1. And any federal individual that's out there knows what a 5K1 is.
What advice would you give to the youth?
The youth?
Yes, sir.
Advice. If you do crime, your ass going to jail. If you think that doing crime is going to get you somewhere in life, your ass is wrong. Hey, listen, you going to jail, man. I'm a crash dummy. I did 14 years. I missed 14 Christmases in behind me thinking that my career should be a major drug dealer. And my success, nah, man, don't think that. Don't think that. Your ass going to jail, youngin'. If you go out there and you start to putting 5 pounds of pressure on a trigger, and your ass going to jail for the rest of your life if you done killed somebody. For real.
Do you think they care?
What you mean by care? Yeah, yeah, it's gonna care when they get that life sentence. Yeah. Now, right now, they too young to understand that for every action there's a reaction. You understand what I'm saying? They too young to understand that. See, once they understand that, then their ass is locked up, man. You like, man, listen. Whatever energy you put in, that's what's gonna get. That's what you're gonna get out of that. That's why I don't like to glorify my story, because at the end of the day, if you glorifying what I did in the streets, my story is I missed 14 Christmases, fam. At the end of the day, man, I was in a cell for 14 years, fam. Say, at the end of the day, shit, and that shit ain't play. When I say it ain't play, I don't care how much money I had, how much money I made, how many women I had, how many cars I had. All that was gone, fam. When you behind bars, shit, man, you better start preparing yourself to be ready for when you get out, or if you get out. You know what I mean? You find out who you are. Shh. I mean, don't let the streets. Don't let the penitentiary raise you.
Do you think the drugs nowadays are playing a heavy part in these kids' decision-making skills?
Yeah, man. Anything that's altering.
Well, you had Al Pacino, Scarface, the Godfather, Nino Brown. Now they got Percocets, fentanyl. They look up to the drugs.
Yeah, that's the fun. What I think. Again, what I think is the drugs alter the thinking. And if you already emotionally immature and then you taking some drugs, living with your ego, now you got an entitlement. Now you got a tool to where you feel that if somebody mess with you, you can unalive them.
Is that a word? I've been seeing people use that word.
Yeah, I think they use the word because it's good for social media.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
You know, they don't like to hear the K word.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so they use unalive instead. But when you got a youngin' walking around here living out their ego and feeling that if they get disrespected in any which way, form, or fashion, they gonna unalive somebody, then that person is doomed for the penitentiary. I ain't gonna say death because that's promised to you, but the penitentiary, man. Real talk.
A few years ago, Murder Work, the story of how gangs came to Texas, myself and RealToonTV, and you had one of the more prevalent quotes in the documentary was, you said, you know, you can either get lucky or you gonna die.
I got lucky. I got lucky and was sent to federal prison, opposed to being dead. Because see, in gang violence, fam, you're in a gang, there's only two ways out. And if you get lucky, you go to the penitentiary. If not, then you're gonna die. So I got lucky. Yeah.
And you got lucky.
I got lucky.
And went to jail.
I got lucky and went to the penitentiary, man. That's the luck part about it. Mm-hmm. You know, and in that I didn't perish. You know, I got lucky, went to the penitentiary, and in the penitentiary, man, I learned to grow up. I learned to be emotionally mature. I learned to not take what other people say and do personal. I learned to, you know, maneuver through the madness without feeling the effects of the madness, if that makes sense.
Did you meet anybody in prison that helped alter your mental state while you were there?
Man, everybody, man. I mean, meeting is when you locked up with a group of individuals who's growing emotionally and understanding that and taking responsibilities for their actions and not saying, hey, taking this situation as a lesson and not a loss, then you winning. Because see, if I'd have took the penitentiary as a loss, then I'd have thought when I got out, I can win again. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But by me taking it as a lesson, it just teaches me to go, hey man, if you put as much energy as you put as when you was in the streets, and if you put that kind of energy in some positive shit, you're gonna get that kind of results. Because of real talk, man, I put a lot of energy into the streets. And I got out of it what I got out of it. Fancy cars, the everything. The rep, the whole nine. I got that out of that. But again, that come with a price.
And you put the same type of energy into your writing skills.
That's exactly what I do. I put that same focus.
Tell the people the name of your book, man, and where they can get it.
Hand that book right up under there. Love Lost the Game, man. Go get my book, man. It's a novel. Love Lost the Game. It's actually a street novel. It's Jawan and Jamal, the two brothers who was mentally and physically abused by their father when they was kids. Well, when the 15-year-old decided on his 13th birthday that he was gonna commit the ultimate crime, murder. Yeah, he killed his pops. Well, what he did was he did a bit. He came home, and that's what the story is about. It's about him coming home from a bit, and his younger brother is a major drug dealer. So dealing with that situation in the book is, you know,
There's a lot of pages in that book, man.
Yeah, this is a good old book, man.
You wrote all that?
400, yeah, man.
Locked up?
Yeah.
The whole
It's
book?
almost 500 page book.
Do you have any more that you
Yeah, man, I got 5 more that I ain't put out, man. That's my bad. That's Hey, man, you know when you got a whole bunch of shit going on, man, you be like, whoa, hey, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do all of the above. You know what I'm saying?
And now you're putting the same energy into being a social media influencer, and it's working for you.
Yeah, it is, man. It's working for me, man. I like, again, giving out psychological advice to everyday life. So it's been working for me, man, real time.
What do you do every day now? Like, what do you do?
I write.
What do you do every day?
I train and write.
That's it?
Huh?
That's all you do?
Train, write. What else? Yeah. Train, write, make videos, fool with you, talk over, messing with you, you know, all this old kind of stuff. You calling me, hey, what you doing, dog? Wow, I ain't doing nothing. That kind of, yeah, I don't do shit.
Training while being incarcerated. What type of training do you do?
I conditioning boxing training. I'm a conditioning boxer trainer. Well, also I'm a boxing trainer. I do. I'm a USA boxing coach.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Do you are you still training people right now to this day?
Yeah, I still train my I still train my kids and stuff. Yeah.
Do you who are some of the people that that we might know that you train?
What did I train? What you mean?
Like, do you train any popular people? Like, who do you train?
Do I train any popular people?
Yeah.
Oh,
do
you
train
talking
any
about
boxers? Do you train any famous people? Like, do you a personal
famous
trainer?
people? Okay. I get what. Oh, I train Sarah Jakes. That what you trying to ask me? I personal train Sarah Jakes. Yeah.
And for the people who don't know, could you tell us who Sarah Jakes is?
T.D. Jakes' daughter.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
I train her. I train her in boxing.
Okay. How's that been? How did you get to do that?
Actually, when I first came home, man, I was training at this gym called O's Gym, and at the time, he was a well-known football player out of Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess when he got a gym out in Arlington, and I went out there to see if I could get a job. And he gave me a job, man. And I didn't know that he was a celebrity trainer, so to say, until I got in there and I started working. And then, like I said, I started mixing, mingling with the people of the Potter House. I've trained Luke Jacob. I've trained a couple of folks in conditioning boxing. Yeah, so that's basically how I was able to land her as a client. And she's really not a client, she's my friend.
Yeah.
Because when I was training her before, she was just regular. She was Sarah. She just gotten big over the years, and I just so happens to be her trainer. So I guess I'm not a celebrity trainer. I'm just training a friend that's a celebrity, so to say.
Do you have goals, like as a trainer? Like, do a trainer have goals to get to the best boxer in the world or the best?
Oh man, I would love to train me a world champion or something to bring me on, you know, or train me one of my boys to make it to the Olympics and win a gold. That would be a beautiful, yeah. That's something I'm looking forward in doing. That's cool.
Do you still train yourself? Do you still?
Yeah, I still hit the bag and stuff, man, best of my ability. I mean, you know, yeah, I would, yeah, you run up on me if you want to. I do know how to fight. If I'm not doing nothing else, I know how to fight. Yeah, I know how to fight. So, yeah, I still do a little bit of something. You know what I mean? I don't want to fight. And I don't want no trouble.
Yeah.
But yeah, I ain't got no problems with it.
Man, thank you for coming to drop through on the Bob Report, man, and that's it, man. We gonna catch you next time, cause this ain't gonna be the last time we see you.
Peace, love, and understanding, man. And again, man, watch out for the snakes in the grass, man. Man, listen, I got a page, my Rose of Life page. That's my YouTube page, and I got
Rose of Life.
Rose of Life.
Mm-hmm.
That's my that's my Facebook page. R Trent Rose, my Facebook page. R Trent Rose, Instagram. Trent Dog 06, Instagram. Trent Dog 06, TikTok, and the Afterlife YouTube. That's where I need you to go, my Afterlife TV, man. But anyway, man, peace, love, and understanding. Watch out for snakes in the grass. And again, man, cut your grass, man.
Hey, real tone, it's some real money in the room.